I'm Hannah, and I want to tell you the story of the time I spent 5 days road tripping in Oregon with two of my best friends, Brooke and Anna, in a camper van called Jenny Joan. After flying into the Portland airport, we picked up the van and got groceries and coffee. Then we drove an hour and a half to the coast. Our van was older and not quite as clean as we expected, but over 5 days and nights, we grew to love it. Our first stop was Cannon Beach. This was the moment I realized Oregon was going to be even better than I expected. The waves at this beach seemed to roll out in slow motion. Watching them made me slow down inside. Just when we thought it couldn't get any better, we got to walk on the shore. I wish I could credit my incredible videography skills to this footage, but it actually looked even cooler in person. The next day, we woke up bright and early. This ended up being our longest day on the road. We aimed to make it to our campsite at Crater Lake before dark, but there were just too many dreamy beaches and sleepy little fisherman towns to stop at along the way. Most of Oregon's beaches are quiet and undeveloped. We were surprised by how easy it was to park here. Outside of Portland, we never had to search for a parking spot, and we barely ever paid for parking. We took the scenic route and somehow turned what we planned to be a 6-hour drive into a 12-hour drive, and we didn't make it to our campsite until well after sundown. But we got to see a lot of beautiful sights along the way. After all that driving, we were anxious to spend the day outside and stretch our legs. Crater Lake did not disappoint. From every angle, it's so enormous and blue. It really took my breath away the first time I saw it. The first hike we picked was the Cleetwood Cove Trail. It's about 2 miles out and back, and it's the only trail that goes to the shore. I was not planning on getting in the water because it was pretty chilly outside, but when I got there, I couldn't resist. All three of us went for a swim, and a couple of us ended up jumping off a cliff. Even after the steep hike back to the van, I was still shivering. We changed into warm, dry clothes and drove to our next hike, Watchman Lookout Trail. This hike was also pretty steep. There were even less people on this trail, so we had most of it to ourselves. It was nice. The view from the top was completely surreal. For our third and final hike, we went on a nice easy stroll to a waterfall. It was relaxing after the strenuous trails from before. This waterfall was surrounded by moss and wildflowers. It felt like a scene straight out of a fairy tale. Before heading back to the campsite, we gathered some wood from the forest for our fire. At night, we roasted hot dogs and s'mores. We sat around the fire, listening to music, drinking boxed wine, and talking about life. On the way back to Portland, we stopped at Umpqua Hot Springs. This was a really cool experience. The water stays naturally hot all year round, and for the most part, it seems like people come here to relax and commune with nature. I didn't take many videos because all that communing with nature eventually led to people getting naked. On our first night in Portland, we had dinner and drinks and explored the nightlife. Most of the people we saw had artsy, casual vibes, earthy and unpretentious. It was nice because the only shower we had the whole trip was when we rinsed off with the water hose at the back of the van after getting in the hot springs. So we were feeling quite earthy. In Portland, we parked our van at a local farm, complete with turkeys, goats, and vineyards. It was surprising to find such a rustic place right in the city. On our last full day in Oregon, we had a big breakfast and headed to the International Rose Test Garden. The entrance is free, and the whole place is full of hippies of all ages sticking their faces in roses. It's pretty addictive, actually. It was really nice to start off our day with so much fragrance and good vibes. Next, we planned to explore more waterfalls, so we headed to Columbia River Gorge, about a 45-minute drive from Portland. The first waterfall we went to was Bridalveil Falls. After a short hike, we were rewarded with a glorious waterfall nestled in the trees and a cool rock to climb on and enjoy the view. Next, we did the La Tourelle Falls hike. This one took us longer to complete and included 2 different waterfalls. When we got to the first waterfall, we stumbled upon a couple having a small intimate wedding. We also stumbled upon this little guy. Then we found some awesome climbing trees, which we climbed without stumbling. And then we reached the second waterfall. It was absolutely breathtaking. Our third and final waterfall was Multnomah Falls, which, as you can see, was the most crowded. It's the most easily accessible waterfall from the street and the one you see most often in pictures. We wrapped up our last day in Portland by eating at a rooftop restaurant and bar hopping. Most of the people we came across were chill and friendly, and we had a really good time. I want to say a special thank you to my friend Anna, who came up with the brilliant idea of going on this trip and did most of the planning. I would also like to thank my friend Brooke, who did most of the entertaining for this trip. Immaculate vibes all around. I hope you're ready to add driving a camper van around Oregon to the top of your bucket list. Thanks for watching.